starting to measure things it's not supposed to. Hopefully they'll have a popcorn machine, which I'm a huge fan. Extra butter, please. Luke, I'm your father. All right, guys, today I got a phone call from a homeowner that I built a house over 10, 12 years ago. He's not real happy because his deck is literally falling off the house, and I have no idea why, because this is definitely a first for me. So we're gonna be checking on that job. Eugenio's working on that. We also gotta go see what Tom's doing at the theater house with the music room, theater room. He's just about done trimming, so we're ready for paint. These homes are in the same neighborhood, so it's easy to make my rounds. Also, I got a birthday gift from Mark and the girls in the office, Bronwyn. So this is a measuring device. I'll show you how this thing works. Everybody should have one. I'm not sponsored by them. I just think it's pretty cool. So let's get going. All right, so we're back here at the world-class ultimate music room, theater room. And Tom, the trimmer, is finishing up today. He's gonna be moving over to my house. So he's been here for a good month and a half, and I'll just show you just 2 rooms and the attention to detail. For example, he's installed all these mahogany, it's African mahogany columns all the way around the room, and these are gonna get panels that will set in and the fabric goes over them. So when he builds these panels, he has to take into account these electrical boxes and outlets throughout. So let me show you what that looks like. Here is just one of the panels that goes around, and they're all pretty much the same size. This is a little different size that go down towards the end by the fireplace, but let me move this one over. Tom is watching me at the end getting nervous because there's a lot of time involved, but here is the one panel that goes for those outlets. And so when they wrap fabric around it, the wall plate switches will go on and it will look absolutely perfect. So that's the attention to detail that Tom has been doing in this room. Let me go show you the bookshelves. So let me take you down here and show you. I'm calling them bookshelves, but actually this is where he's going to keep his albums for the record collection, because this is a music room. So they're at an angle, and that angle is on purpose because of the deflection of sound. And I hope I said that right. Doug, the homeowner, is awesome at talking about the specifics of this. And so we have had special engineering and architects work on this design to get the right angles, and now we're trying to get the sound of the exterior walls. Behind this is the foundation, and so there is a framing wall. There's also some insulation in there, but remember, we're talking about, here's that little bit of an echo. Needs to try and make it sound as if it's dense. We don't want that little bit of an echo. So what we're meeting with tomorrow is we're most likely going to come in without removing this, drilling a bunch of holes, and then bringing in a open cell foam. Open cell foam is good for sound. Closed cell foam as an insulation, but also it's good for water protection. But the open cell foam opens up, it's real dense, and I think that is going to solve this echo problem. So I'll keep you posted on that. Okay, this fireplace is not gas, it's actually runs water. So I'm interested to see what that looks like, just like you guys. They didn't want the heat from it. So this cavity right here is problematic. So we can't have this being echoey. We're gonna come in and fill this entire thing full of open cell foam. But to show you how solid this is, it's only to keep it from rattling, we added these brackets to the wall on each one of these things to make sure this does not shake at any time when they get that big subwoofer rolling. Another detail that was added, this wire is for indirect lighting, and there's a hole. So all this here will get backlit. So you'll illuminate all the albums, which will really create a beautiful nighttime setting. Way back at the foundation stage, we came in and we put 2 copper, they're 6 foot deep into the ground, go into the foundation, footing, all the way in the ground. Here is one of 2 of them. That's a grounding rod, and when they set up the wiring, that is one more thing that helps reduce any interference with the electrical. And we have 2 of these in the house, one here and one on the other side of the room. What's great about these panels, once they go on, is that we have room behind there to, when they want to add electrical or some additional equipment and wiring, there are these little holes right down below. And because this cabinet is in place, we put a big PVC sleeve that runs behind here. So you're able to get the wiring and connect everything you need to in the event you want to continue to add more equipment, which is probably going to be the case. If you guys Google high-end music rooms, you'll see that it's just basically a square room, and there's just a ton of speakers and everything just kind of laying around on the floor. That is something that we did not want to do in this room, so we have set it up where not only the panels, but we'll have the speakers and stuff will be on the floors, but it's going to be a clean looking room So it's something that he'll be proud to show his friends and family, and also be something really over the time to enjoy. So it becomes a space that welcomes people to come into. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. And we've even vaulted the ceiling here to where that's a light tray. And remember, the high-end ductwork, those are the louvers. So when this heating and cooling system comes on, it's literally a whisper. It does not interfere with the sound. All right, so this is the hallway that we created to connect the house. As you can see through here, that's the main house. That was always there. And then we had to dig this hole out. It was a major event. Hopefully I'll find some copy or some content to show you that on how difficult this job site was. So we had to dig this all the way down. Those windows were non-existent because it was up against dirt. So now we've created a walkout basement on a home that wasn't. There's a ton of dirt that came out. So this hallway connects the main house. And so this foundation had to be cut out. And for the longest time, we just put on a temporary door. This leads into, that's all pretty well protected, into the main house. So we're getting so close to where we can officially connect the two projects and get this thing done. I'm hoping we can have this done in the next 45 days. All right, so we're downstairs. Remember, this house has 2 elevators. It had one that came with the home. It was literally a lift, which meant you sit inside a little platform area and rode it up. That wasn't that safe because young kids could touch the wall, but the homeowner prior to that was a man that wasn't concerned. So these people decided to put a full cab in. So they have a whole new cab over here, but let me show you what a house elevator looks like, because they actually lift, the elevator cab is up above our head. Here is all the weights that have been balanced perfectly to determine what this needs. So this is called a 1-floor lift because it just goes up 1 floor. Sometimes they'll go to 2 floors. I've done as many as 3 or 4 because if you go upstairs on one house, you might have a sunken living room, a couple step down floors. That will require an additional stop. So 1 stop, all the weights, all cleaned up, all the equipment is upstairs in the theater room behind the door so it stays nice and clean. Okay, upstairs, this railing's coming that'll match the exact same railing design that Eric, our metal guy, has created. It's a custom design, so he's remaking some more of those spindles. Here's the movie theater room. I'm gonna show you that in a minute, but I'm gonna take you into this part of the house, the office for the homeowner. We've added a half bath. Everything is made out of mahogany. The doors, the cabinetry. Check this out when you come into this room. One, he'll have this awesome view of the pool. Right now it's a total disaster, but once it stops raining, they'll start digging and putting in a brand new pool. On this side, over here, this is a huge bookcase. These ceilings are 10 foot tall. Let me move this out of the way. Let me see, let me move it into the room. This you gotta see. This is the ultimate hidden room. So when he's in this room and he's got his books, he's working at his desk, enjoying the pool, looking outside, all you gotta do is walk up to this little space, pull on something here. We might have some hardware or something, I doubt it, because we don't want to draw attention to it, but this literally hinges, very well balanced, nicely done. When you have these big bookcases, you have to remember, you have to deal with this thickness. So the opening has to be extra wide, otherwise you could not have gotten through here. So when you come into this space, this is going to be what he calls his electronic room, workshop. All the stereo equipment, everything is going to be on this area, all on racks. It looks beautiful, but this will be what he calls a workshop. So you got plenty of windows, but what's nice, it's out of sight, out of mind, and it's kind of cool having that hidden bookcase. So as these massive bookcases, this is 10 foot tall and it's a little over 3 foot wide. We had to make this opening, it's a little over 4 foot wide because see how thick the bookcase is? This is probably close to about 18 inches. It encroaches on the walkway, so you still have plenty of room to get in, but this had to be considered when we designed this so that it did not prevent yourself access to the room. Let me explain you guys why we have this temporary air conditioning unit in. Remember, this house, the HVAC is super expensive, and we're trying to reduce the amount of dust and dirt that goes into that system, so we do not have that turned on. We have brought in these temporary AC units, and we have a fan. Because we're on the main floor, remember, heat rises, so we're air conditioning the top floor, and the cool air will sink to the lower level. Why is that important? Is because all this beautiful mahogany wood has to stay in a controlled environment. If the heat and humidity gets into this stuff, it will eventually cause this wood to warp and maybe delaminate, and it's very, very expensive. So we want to stay ahead of it, keep it in a controlled environment so that in the end you have an absolutely perfect finished product. So we're in the upstairs theater room. Tom is all done. We have the painter scheduled to come tomorrow. We have a back cabinet that sits right back here. So this will be kind of a serving counter because remember, it's a theater room. Hopefully they'll have a popcorn machine, which I'm a huge fan. Extra butter, please. Okay, in the theater room, we have angled walls as well, just like the music room downstairs. This will most likely be displays for artwork, maybe some DVDs and discs, but a lot of that equipment is behind that wall. That's behind that wall where the screen goes is that shop area, hidden room. So the screen will completely fill that wall. These all get those same panels that we have downstairs. This eventually will get filmed full of that special foam blocks for sound deadening. In the movie theater room, the sound deflection is just as important downstairs, probably more so that you can maximize the theater sound quality. Remember I talked about the elevator? All the equipment goes behind this door. So this is what it takes to run the elevator on this side of the house. Because we had to build a closet around the elevator equipment, we had to mirror that same design over here. So this now has become a closet, and we're using this closet for a lot of the cabling. I want to show you guys how thick this stuff is. And I've learned that that is so important. The size of the cable is what you need to help drive this high-end equipment. So man, this is some heavy duty stuff. All right, since the inside of the house is so beautiful, now they're focusing on the outside, and we tore out the concrete sidewalk and they put down these beautiful pavers, and they're going to be lined. What's nice, they have this metal strapping here, which will keep it nice and square, and that will create the border, and that takes you all around to the front door. Three things are important on a house: the front entrance, front area, master bedroom, and kitchen. So the front is the arrival to the house. Not only is it important, the front door, but it looks like if you're walking on brick pavers, you're really stepping it up a couple notches. These three pillars are fountains. The sound of flowing water is going to be present when you make the turn and go to the front door, which will be very peaceful and welcoming. Remember, this house was built for a man that was a quadriplegic. It's totally barrier-free. He could go anywhere in his wheelchair. And even though we're doing the brick pavers, that had to be taken into consideration. So once again, no transition, extremely smooth. Anything that's taller than an inch, inch and a half, and you're in a wheelchair, it might as well be 4 foot tall. So it's got to be nice and smooth, but you also have to be careful not to let water into the house. So that is a big concern, and it's very difficult to build homes keeping that in mind. If you guys have not built a house before, you have to get used to having messes. That means we're making progress. Tom is excellent about sweeping up after every night of cleaning up, but yet he comes back the next day, you would swear nobody has been here cleaning up. That, I'm used to it. Sometimes the homeowners are not, especially during remodels. It's a very inconvenient thing having so much dirt and dust and people in your house. Be patient, because at the end, this thing is going to be world class. By tomorrow morning, this will all be cleaned up. Painters will be in here and they're starting to stain all the wood. That's the next step, staining and then paint. So let's go check the next job and see what Eugenio's up to. I designed and built this house over probably 10, 12 years ago, and I always stay friends with the homeowners, and I want them to call me with anything that's going wrong or problems, what have you. As luck would have it, we did do one of those concrete decks. I always have them engineered, so I got word that this deck has been failing, which just blows my mind. I've built probably 25, 30 of these concrete decks, and I don't know why we're having a problem here, but let's get into it, and we're going to figure this thing out so we can correct the problem and get this homeowner back on track. Hey, where's the van? Eugene?
At lunch.
Oh, he's at lunch?
Yeah.
You don't get lunch? Oh, you brought lunch? Oh my God, this is nasty. So, it looks like a fire. What we had, since Eugenio's been here demoing, there was a fire pit that we built up here. There's also some maintenance to this stuff. I don't know, something has caused water to get in because we put a water membrane on top of all this. It's been waterproof tested, and then we pour concrete. So there should be an added layer. Somehow, you can see right in this area, everything over here looks fine. It's kind of, you can see where the fire pit was, and water will run downhill, has gotten in and totally destroyed, and rotten wood has taken place, causing this to be a failure. So we came in, I had an engineer come look at it, and we're securing everything up. We got a steel member all the way across. These are 2x12s, 12-inch on center, more than enough. So what we're having to do now is we're tearing all the concrete off, replacing all the floor joists, and then I think what the homeowner is going to want us to do, which I'll recommend, is we'll go back to doing like we did at Flair's house, that bladder system, put all new floor trusses in. We'll be able to finish the bottom side so it looks nice with the can lighting and get this thing straightened out. So it's never fun to come out and look at something that's been a problem. If this design was a problematic, every one of these decks would be failing right now, because I've got some that are 20 plus years old and are doing just fine. So this has to be one isolated area that causes all this problem, and this is kind of very sad to see. Okay, Eugenio and his crew have made tremendous progress. They're extremely resourceful, trying to figure out how to get all this concrete down a set of steps, up another set of steps into the dumpster, and it's been taking them quite some time. They have to be very safety minded because the structure they're working on is very fragile. That's why you see we put temporary supports underneath to keep this safe as they work up above here. See, here's that rubber membrane that we put down, so I know it's there, and that has literally created a hole. Here's another hole over here. It's just what time and water will do to something. It will totally destroy it. It's just too bad we didn't catch this earlier, because we could have prevented a lot of this. But sometimes this stuff is happening underneath and you don't even know it. So Eugenio takes my concrete saw and he cuts it in chunks, and you'll notice there's a hose hooked up to it. So what this hose does, it adds water to keep the dust down. That way, when they're working, there's not a big cloud of dust. It doesn't get all over the house. That's a nice feature that sometimes people forget to hook up. And as he cuts every chunk of section of this concrete out, then they're able to put it in a wheelbarrows, and they rigged up. They're quite ingenious on what they've come up with, and created a ramp to get all the material out of here. And then once it's all cleaned up, we'll come in and start tearing out all the lumber and start reframing and putting this back together. And we'll probably go back to not pouring concrete. It'll be much easier for us to put in a Trex decking with the bladder system below, like I said. Hola, Eugenio, you guys have making very good progress. I love what you've done here with the ramp. It's pretty steep. Heavy, yeah. So you guys are quite ingenious. I like how you take a problem, instead of throwing your hands up in the air, you find a way to solve it. You're great to work with. I appreciate that. Nothing goes easy in construction, nor demo. There's no book on how to demo things and how to do it safely.
Use your headache or make easy.
Yeah, like Eugenio says, you got to use your head and make it easy. Thank you guys for getting this done. I cannot believe how bad the water has gotten in and destroyed that wood. When you took out the fire pit, was there a lot of rotten wood in that?
All the frame for
that fire pit
was...
that had to be where it all started, at the fire pit, and then it just branched out from there. Oh boy. All right, well, we're gonna get it fixed and make it right and get them back enjoying their deck here real soon. I had a birthday this weekend, and look at the gift I got. Check this out, Eugenio. Yeah, I'm 45 years old, just like you. Oh,
I'm 27.
You were 37 last birthday. His Spanish math is way off. Look what Mark got me. So it's a laser measurer. I should be getting someone to help me with this, but no, I'm just showing. So you hit this little button, and I put it right here. It tells you how far away we are from that wall. There's a little red laser. Where did it go? There it is. See the laser?
Uh-huh.
Little dot. We are exactly 8 feet 1 inch away.
Oh, that is cool.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
See there? Oh, now I'm pointing to the sky. Want to measure something? Here, right here, Eugenio. So you can butt it against this too and measure to the grill. Now let's see. I gotta hold that down. 7 feet 10 inches to that dot. What do you think?
That's
It's easy.
All right, pretty good.
Yeah.
Is that better than having a big tape measure?
No
There you
tape.
go. You don't need to carry a
Don't carry
actual
nothing,
tape.
right? Yeah, fits right in your pocket.
There you go.
Yep,
Nice.
got to turn it off.
Tape measure.
Starting to measure things it's not supposed to. Yeah, Chihuahua. All right.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, my birthday. How do you say birthday in
Feliz
Spanish?
cumpleaños. Cumpleaños.
Feliz
No, it's cumpleaños. It's a birthday.
Cumple
Cumpleaños.
año. Cumpleaños.
Perfecto.
All right. 45. 25.
27.
27. Oh. All right. I got to keep going. You got a lot to do here, and then we'll get this done, and then we'll work on the big soffit. I'm going to ask him. Mark was saying the driveway looks like it could use some work too. I got to look at that. But it's a stamped concrete. Ah, it looks fine. Oh, up here it fell apart. So if you start putting salt on a driveway, this is pretty much what happens to it. It gets corrosive and it just starts tearing it up. And the only way to fix this, unless you guys can tell me something different, is to basically tear it out and re-pour it. I'll have to talk to the homeowner and see if we're here fixing stuff, maybe he wants to fix this as well. But the downside is, because it's been colored, we're gonna have to come in and recoat the whole thing to get a whole new color on it, which is probably time. It's been over 10 years. All right, guys, we're just finishing up here. I'm gonna let Eugenio finish doing his work. He's making great progress. But a point I want to point out to you guys is that if you want to be a home builder, you really, just because you're done with the house and the year warranty's over, you really should never just wipe your hands clean of the customers, because it's word of mouth is what I live off of. Because these people, it seems like everyone talks about the weather, their vacations, and if they like their house or not. So I want to be not in that conversation. I want them to say, I do like my home builder, I love my house, and we recommend working with Brad the Builder. And I do get a lot of business that way. These are things I don't like to come back on. Nobody does. But if you stick to your word and do more than what's asked, the homeowners will go easy on you. And I don't want to leave them high and dry, because I would not want somebody to dump this one on me. We're all going to work together, get this figured out. In the end, everybody's happy, nobody got hurt, and hopefully I'll get some referral business out of this job. So keep that in mind. I really appreciate you guys watching. Hey guys, my goal is to get to 100,000 subscribers. I know you guys can help me get there because we have more views and people watching. So don't forget to subscribe. It means a lot to me, and I'll see you guys on the next job site.